Final Fantasy XIV is officially dead. What, that's news to you, didn't you know? Talk about living under a rock. Q's being gone means that we have officially finally hit the Final Fantasy XIV mass exodus back to World of Warcraft. Those bowls of fruit aren't gonna fill themselves, you know. On a realistic side note, I'd never expected to say Microsoft being the savior of World of Warcraft and Overwatch and even StarCraft was even remotely in the realm of things that I thought possible. On a very serious note, that intro was basically what my comments have been lambasted by. I have gotten Twitter messages over it. I have gotten tons of Discord DMs that I really wish were like in my public channels. Like all of them saying, oh my god, the queues are gone, the game must be dying. What do you mean Gilgamesh only has like a 5-person queue? Dead. If you saw my last video on queues finally being reasonable, a lot of people took it really out of context to say the least. This is actually a video that I wanted to do many days ago, but my mom literally having ammonia and literally being on rounds of antibiotics alongside a cocktail of other things, I had bigger priorities than my fun place of YouTube. Peace and love. I keep telling everyone that I do this for fun because I like it. I mean, that's why I basically had to abandon the channel to take care of my mom, and I'm not about to apologize for it. But this video is a few days out, and I do feel a bit bad about that. Just to wrap up in a bow, she's doing better. So first thing I want to talk about coming back to my channel is this 14 phenomenon. Let me say it outright. This is normal for Final Fantasy XIV. Final Fantasy XIV respects your time, and this is something I have said on my channel time in and time again, and honestly maybe it's due for like a new video, a refreshed video for Endwalker, but because of this phenomenon of it actually respecting your time, queues dip off because of this after the initial rush of a mainstay patch. Final Fantasy XIV's developers don't think your time is worth less than the toilet paper that they just used like other grindy games do. So this is very normal for any patch that has been going out for what, we're going on like 2 months now. There's a significant drop of content that people burn through at an accelerated pace. Some people were literally doing like marathon runs of Endwalker, and then they burn through all the content, and then there is quote unquote nothing left to do that they are in particular interested in. There's going to be a lot left to do, but are you necessarily interested in it? The developers of 14 allow you to make that choice. And this is factually, 100% factually, something that has always been a factor in Final Fantasy 14. Okay, we don't look at 1.0. This is exactly why me and others say Final Fantasy 14 respects your time. Now people might be confused why I say that. Like, what makes it so different? Okay, perfect example on the docket. World of Warcraft right now, literally a few days ago, has had multiple people do videos on basically how grindy it is, how time-gated it is, how there is an insurmountable amount of grind and daily quests and time-gated and time-gate this and time-gate that. Now people are really just giving up the grind out the gate-go before they even like actually enter the gate because it is just a monster when they look it up. I'm actually going to allow the content creator to actually speak for it themselves.
I joined his group. This is a true story. I joined his group and I tell him, I'm like, bro, you don't have your legendary, you don't have your conduits, you don't have your covenant. Like, you need to get those. I literally get in Discord with him.
Yeah.
Okay, I get in Discord with him, and I link him a guide. How to get all of these things unlocked, and I tell him exactly what he needs to do to level them up. And he says, okay, reluctantly. And then he literally quits. Instead of doing all of those things, he literally just stops playing the game.
14, once you've leveled up your jobs to play whatever you want to play, say Red Mage and Bard, you level them up. Once you got a baseline gear set for them, it really does boil down to play what you want to play when you want to play it. You should just ideally cap your weekly Tomestones out to 450, which takes an honestly fairly short time with expert roulette dungeons or hunt trains. Hunt trains are actually something that I strongly do recommend, but even that stops being a thing after a few weeks because once you have the Tomestone pieces that you want, you're really done. In fact, it's so much so to the degree, and a lot of people say quote-unquote raid logging is bad. I don't actually see it the same as you if you think that, because it's just like, okay, I came to this game because I want to participate in raids, and that's all I want to do. That's not a bad thing if all they need to do is raid. In fact, in the 14 community, I know personally some quote-unquote pure raiders that even skip the Tomestone grind. Not that that is advisable because best in slot always includes Tomestone pieces, but I know people that only explicitly raid and are like handed a pentamelded crafted set that they didn't even slot the materia in and only log on to raid and absolutely refuse to do anything else. And they are objectively just fine for it. They are clearing the tier, they are having their fun, and then they're like, okay, this is great. That is what they came here to do, and that is what the game allows them to do. Unlike some other games where you need to do chore gas, all these different freaking daily quests that suck, grind this, grind that, and like that kind of like pure raider that just wants to raid is just like, what the hell am I doing here? Don't tell me that the world World of Warcraft raiders don't think that. A lot of them really want to just skip all this extra minutia and BS. I mean, there are a lot of raiders who, peace and love, are like married, they have a wife, they have kids to take care of, bills, they need to like mow the lawn and do all these things, and then you add in all of these different daily chores. And I know people who came from World of Warcraft who were refreshed to be able to literally just raid log without being bad in raid. So I'm gonna actually completely disagree with people on that. Raid logging is bad. It's like, no, allowing people to do explicitly what they want is not a bad thing. I'm gonna disagree with you adamantly. Now, if you want to do other things and all you can do is raid log, that's the issue. But I'm gonna end that kind of like sidestepping for now. I can think of many people who do the same. For crafters, housing enthusiasts, some explicitly only play for mahjong, and yes, mahjong. Some do deep dungeons. Like, I mean, like, there are a lot of people who are like really focused on a particular form of content. And this is exactly why Final Fantasy XIV has this large appeal and large audience. Like, I've had single mothers in my community that I've spoken to express that they enjoy it because it's been a nice passive hobby that respects their time. And given their time stamp of approval, that's a pretty positive sign. Capstoning that, respecting players' time is of the utmost importance to our developers, and it shows in how the game actually plays. It's like, if you join Final Fantasy XIV, you're not forced to do those daily quests for 3 months every single day, or chore gassed, or whatever insane reputation grinds that you need, because screw being able to travel fast or fly across maps. I literally swear some of those maps, though, were designed to infuriate me and others. Like the Venthyr map, I need to be clear here, I love the Venthyr, the aesthetics were amazing, but that map was absolutely designed to defecate out my time. Don't lie to me, it was horrible with the different elevations. Very beautiful, but oh my god, getting, you know what I mean, to the point where I actually really liked my priest because I could like do this like slow fall on myself. Or, at risk of kind of repeating myself, your ability to actually perform and do good DPS in a raid isn't dependent on an RNG roll from an RNG drop from an RNG spawn of some mob on an RNG map or Titan forging or whatever else. Nice to not need to grind out a Heart of Azeroth in order to raid and perform. how to say it? It's nice to not be having to do that, or you perform significantly worse than someone who literally unironically posts in chat, LOL normie scrub salaried wagey, LOL imagine working a job. I'm investing in crypto. Crypto land. Yeah, I'm not really interested in doing that kind of shit. Honestly, I hate everything about that now that I think about it for a second. And honestly, now BFA is gone. My question is, where's your Heart of Azeroth at? Yeah, miss me with that aimless time wasting stuff. Like, I don't want to do that. Even Yoshi P did an interview many years ago where he essentially stated that it's okay to come and play what you want in 14 and then take a break, and would actually be even happier if you did that. Like, you don't feel the need to burn yourself out, which is honest to goodness one of the healthiest developers' perspective I have ever seen on any game ever, and so this quote really sticks in my brain. To reel it back to the main point, we've seen queues dip off because of this, because Final Fantasy XIV doesn't think that your time is worth less than the toilet paper that they use like other grindy games do. My monthly active users. So now we have people that want to raid in their static, just raid in their static. Log on for raid time, and not just every other day randomly to grind out some world quests. We have many top end groups completely finish the tier. We've had people like me finish leveling everything before Christmas, and so many people met their goals. Crafting market has cooled off, and the butters are flooding materials at literally like 300 gil a piece on Gilgamesh, which is insane. Gil in Gilgamesh, not likely. So even the crafters are kind of like cooling down at this point. We're not seeing larger, grindier optional content like relics added yet for custom glamour, or ultimate raids yet for the high-end raiders who grind, and that is a grind 100%. That takes a ton of time. Or we're not seeing Island Sanctuary, which sounds amazing, like an Animal Crossing like adventure for more casual players. That is super high on people's want list. But now to reel that back, to ensure that that's not misinterpreted, that is still all optional content. Like, if you want to do it grinds. Not forcing crafters to do ultimate raids. We're not forcing ultimate raiders to join housing competitions and decorate 5 large houses in a month. And to me, that's an amazing thing. The option of actually playing a game for what you want to play the game for. So when people say, oh, Final Fantasy XIV is dead to me because the queues aren't going bonkers all the time. Oh my god, I logged into Gilgamesh and it was in a 5,000 person queue. Oh my god. I actually have to say the opposite. Final Fantasy XIV is very much alive and retains the player base it does, and keeps people coming back because it respects their time, and you do get what you want to get from it. To me, that has always been a big appeal. It's the simple things in life, right? I log on to the game, I get to do what I want to do. Shocking.